Pastor Steve here. Psalm 56, 1 through 4 said, "Be merciful unto me, O God, for man would swallow me up. He fighting daily oppresses me. Mine enemies would daily swallow me up, for they may many that fight against me. O thou most high, what time I am afraid, I will trust in thee. And God, I will praise his word. In God I have put my trust. I will not fear what flesh can do unto me." Was it President Roosevelt who said, "There's nothing to fear but fear itself"? Well, it's a nice sentiment. That's not always true. Notice here what the psalmist said, "when I'm afraid." It's not denying the presence of actual fear, but a realization that there are times when there are reasonable fears. There are rational fears and there are irrational ones. They have some real fearsome things on this old globe. A rabid dog, a flight of intercontinental ballistic missiles, the IRS. All can be a rational fear. The zombie apocalypse, not so much. Not so much. Now, when any fear comes on us, we need to be able to deal with it. Some things we cannot control. Rabid dogs and ICBMs, not so much can we control. But what about irrational fears? When I arrived in Mohammed Murtala International Airport in February of 1991 in Lagos, Nigeria, the one who was supposed to meet us wasn't there. I admit to fear. Turned out it was one of those things that the level-headed doctor with me was able to sort out. We arrived by a taxi to the Lagos Sheraton. I was able to call home, and my wife called the man who was expecting us, but he hadn't gotten our letter. In fact, it came the next day. It was okay. And when he arrived, it was okay. But I felt like a failure. I feared that I was going to be useless and was beating myself up pretty badly, and God sent literally an angel named Florence. She sat beside me on the flight from Lagos to Enugu, and I saw her reading her Bible. And I asked her if she knew the Jesus in that book, and she smiled, and I told her why we were there. And she described to me what her people really needed. It was what I had come to preach, the simple gospel. God knew my fears, and he was teaching me that what time I am afraid I can trust in him. My mantra, if I may call it that, has become, "Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on thee because he trusts in thee." Makes me stop and evaluate my fears. I'm still working on this. Don't think I'm way up there, all right? But the fear of an unknown future, I have to trust to his hands, as he alone has the plans that matter. I say, "Lord, I know this fear is not rational. I know I can trust you, and I'm learning to do, as the rest of verse 3, when I am afraid, to put my trust in you. Trust in God, whom I praise, in whose word I find comfort. Even when people-pleasing fears arise, I know the Lord is on my side. I will not fear what man can do unto me." It's a hard one, but I'm learning it day by day. Do you trust God? Remember what Charles Spurgeon said, "When you cannot trace his hand, you can trust his heart." You ponder that, Pastor Steve.